Mike, thanks for talking to us again.
Yeah, no problem.
I suppose you can have as many training ground games and friendlies, but is it really only in a competitive game you start to get a real judgment of these players?
Yeah, we've had these last two games against Harrogate and against Port Vale the other night, and I think you see then the intensity levels go up, so you get a good feel for how the group is fitness wise and the stuff that you've been working on the training ground. But so they've been good games for us. They have been good games in terms of fitness, working with the group, working on things that we need to improve at and things that we've been doing well. So no, they've been good games for us.
Awfully unfortunate. Penalties are always a lottery, of course.
Yeah.
But awfully unfortunate that both games have gone to penalties and you've come out the wrong side too.
Yeah, I think we spoke about the penalties. I think you've got to be able to put a ball in the net against the keeper. We said that to the lads, but I think moving forward with it, I think them games we just need to make sure that we're doing the things right all the time. So the penalties, it's disappointing, but the draws at the end of the day, they are draws in the games. You want more from them. You want little bits more improvement in them, but it's something we're working to. We're always working to try and strive and get that improvement. So that's what we've got from these last two games.
And what have you learned so far about your squad from the first two games?
I've learned it's a squad that's working for each other, that wants to improve all the time. They want to be part of something and know the areas where we need to improve, which we've probably been well documented. We need to probably be a bit more smarter and slicker in the final third. But that's stuff we're working on. I think with your attacking players, we've not had the chance to actually get our attacking players playing with each other a lot of the time, with a couple of injuries and things like that. So it gives an opportunity. That's what we need to do next time when we come together, and we're trying to work it on the training ground as well.
And we'll probably be asking you this for the next couple of weeks at least, but is there any update in terms of the recruitment you'd like to bring into the club?
Yes, we're still trying hard to try and get the right people in. We've picked up a couple of injuries recently that might force our hand, like I said before, but again, it takes time. We've got to make sure everything's right, budget-wise, player-wise, location-wise, and the fit for the group, because the group at the moment's becoming tight, and that's what I want. So it's got to be the right fit to come in with that group, because that group, one thing it has got at this moment in time, when I've looked back at the games, it's willing to graft for each other. So that's one thing that we need to keep making sure we keep that, because that's the foundation of where we're working at.
And another area of learning, I suppose, is learning what it's like to play in front of no supporters. What's that been like for you?
Yeah, that's been very strange. It doesn't feel right. I'll be honest with you. As been a player and a manager and a coach, it's just not the same. You wait. The fans obviously go with the flow of the game, and you're waiting. In some games, they're coming with you, and you'll be away from home, and it's just bizarre. I can't lie. It's very, very strange. But I think it's here for the foreseeable future. I think, which is disappointing, because we want our fans back in the ground, and I'm sure they want to be back as well. We want to try and get that connection with them. Hopefully, on the iPlayer, we're getting some sort of connection, but it's very vague, you know. But all I can say to them is, we're thinking about where we hope you're all safe, and we just want to make sure we try and get you back in the ground as soon as we can, because we need you as well.
Okay, it's the start of the league campaign then this weekend. I just wondered, generally speaking, after the events that happened at the end of last season and the club's demotion,
Yes.
have you had to sort of mentally adjust the players to not necessarily feeling sorry for themselves and what happened, but to perhaps put that injustice and channel it in the right way?
Yeah, we spoke about channeling that as the group, but I think the group's come back. I haven't seen any hint of that, of feeling sorry for themselves. I think I've seen a renewed focus, if you like, and I think the other lads who've come in have helped that, because the type of professionals are, the type of people they are, and they haven't obviously gone through it, so they've actually come in as well with a freshness as well, which adds to the lads that were there. But them lads that are here know what it meant last year for that to happen to us. So their focus is on that. They know. We spoke about not using it as an excuse, but using it as a fuel to move forward. So no, we're in the right place.
And of course, the last time you were in League Two, ended up in a promotion season. So what qualities specifically in League Two do you think you need?
I think it's quite a few. I think the biggest thing for me is that when I've ever had the team in League Two that's gone well has been the team spirit, the group, the collective. That has always been in the case. And on top of that, obviously you need that sprinkling of talent. You know, you need to be good in both 18-yard boxes at this level, good on set plays. That never changes. But I think the biggest thing for me is that team. I know you can say, well, that's easy. It's not. That is the hardest thing to get. It's the easiest thing to lose. But that's the thing that will keep you united on that. But you need talented players within that to be able to bring you forward. So, and people who can deal with little setbacks as well. Because you're going to get them along the way. You're going to get people ups and downs. Can the group deal with them setbacks? But that's our job collectively to make sure we can do that within games, and well as if the games don't go the way we think.
What are you expecting from Mansfield, which is a difficult place to start?
Yes, obviously there's been quite an investment there at Mansfield. They've been going for promotion for the last couple of years. I know the manager very well. I played with him, so I know his strengths and weaknesses. I know how he likes his group to play, and we're really looking forward to. We're really excited about the game now. It's just I don't really like speaking about the opponent too much. I think sometimes you can give too much away, but every opponent that we play, we have respect for them in what they're trying to do and the style they play in. We know the way they play. We've just got to make sure that we do what we do and work from there constantly.
Just finally from me, any injuries at all?
Yes, we've got a couple. We're still waiting on a couple, which is disappointing, but we should be okay. But we're still waiting on some.
No one specific?
No. Just in case Mansfield's watching.
Thanks for your time.
No problem.
After the Harrogate game, Mike, you spoke about perhaps the fitness of the team not quite being where you'd like it to be, which may have affected them maybe sitting a little bit too deep, or perhaps. You've obviously played another game since then, and quite a few of the first team that played against Harrogate were involved. Have you seen anything in training this week that suggests that they might be in a better position now than they were a week ago?
Yes, definitely. I think it was an improvement on Tuesday night. I've watched it back several times, like I always do with games, and watched the Harrogate game back. So you're looking at improvements of how you want to play, the key things in the way we want to play, and as it improved, the fitness levels have definitely gone up. It was a lot more sharper. You only have to look at the data from the games that we get back, which shows that. And you look at the group as a whole when they've come in today. Sometimes groups can come in after a Tuesday and be slumping around and I feel a bit tired, but I haven't seen any of that today. They look motivated, they look like they weren't ready to go. So the lads had to go again on Tuesday, obviously, because we know the squad's not where it needs to be in depth. But then the lads went again, there was no complaints about doing that, and they'll be ready to go again on Saturday.
It looks like you kept the majority of your back four midweek that started against Harrogate.
Yes.
Was that a purposeful move in terms of trying to start them to gel them together so that the unit knows where they are with each other?
Yes, I think so. I think I've been doing that since we've come in pre-season. I think what we've got to make sure with that back four unit has to get used to playing with each other. It's critical that you do that. I think obviously I have the opportunity to watch these games back and see where chances are coming against us and what's happening. I think at the moment we've got a focus back four and goalkeeper that they want to keep clean sheets, and I think the lads in front of them are helping them to do that, and I think that's always a good base to start from. I'd rather start with a base of that's not conceding many goals than a base that's leaking goals everywhere. I think that's a good base to start with, and then you move on with that. That's what I was saying before about the strikers. The strikers haven't had the same continuity as that back line at the moment, and I think that's where we're just a little bit short of them connections and sharpness in them final areas. But that's the hardest bit of the pitch. That's why they get paid the most money.
Of course, in contrast to obviously the defence, which probably some of them, apart from the fullbacks, probably know each other a bit better. But against Harrogate, I think you had 3 new midfielders. And obviously we talked about perhaps Tranmere not creating enough chances against Harrogate, but I suppose you've got to remember that we have got a lot of new players in there, and they've not had that long to gel together and get to know how each other's ticked, have they?
I totally agree. I think that's a very good point. I think when you look at these connections between your players and where they link on the pitch, we speak about it a lot, and who links with who, midfield player, wide man, striker, full-back, how they all link together. But I think that takes time because they've come from different clubs where they've been told to play in different ways. So we're just trying to make sure we utilise their strengths in the ways that we want to play. But I think it does help when they get more chance to play with each other.
We saw a couple of glimpses of Jay Spearing's undoubted quality against Harrogate as well.
Yeah.
I always remember Ben Toller telling me when he was at the club that he always liked the ball played in the channel right in front of him. It was the easiest ball for an attacking player to run on for, and he attempted that a few times.
Yes.
So that's the type of thing you want to see more from Jay and perhaps some of the others.
Yes, obviously that game, you look at the two games, they were two completely different games in styles compared Harrogate and Port Vale. So there wasn't a lot of room against Harrogate to play, very tight. I think like we said that we were probably got sucked into their game a little bit, but you've got to be looking for quality into them front men. Jay Spearing, whoever plays anywhere behind that front line, centre backs, full backs, midfield players, that front four need that service of quality into them. Then it's up to them to make it stick, to combine, to work off each other and threaten that back four. That's their job at the end of the day, but our job behind that is to make sure we give them that service and they're aware and they've got the movements to get them on the ball.
And just finally from me, one of the big differences on Saturday I found was with there being no supporters in the crowd, you can hear everything that's happening on the pitch, which ordinarily you wouldn't.
Yes.
And one constant throughout the game was Scott Davis barking instructions at everyone about his wide players, and that seemed really infectious on the side. Is he like that every day of the week?
Yes, but both keepers are incredible talkers. It's a big plus for a manager and if I in a back four. If you've got a goalkeeper like that who demands standards, them two lads, they played. You know what I mean? They're good players. They're good people. They know they want to work and they want to be successful every day. And they demand off the people in front of them. And everyone's the same. Peter Clark. You go through the team. Even Manny Month now starting to take that responsibility and I can see him starting to grow. I can see people in positions maybe not in the past that are starting to just step up now because they're getting pushed not only from the staff but from the players around them, and I think that's great. It can only bring them on.